The sun beat down on the silent airbase as a crowd of frustrated technicians circled the lifeless F-16. Millions of dollars worth of machinery. Dead. No power. No response. No explanation. And just as the commander prepared to cancel the mission, everyone turned at the sound of slow, uneven footsteps. An old man, frail, bent, and definitely not on the roster, walked straight toward the jet as if he'd known it his whole life. The security guard rushed to stop him. But before he could, the old man placed one hand on the cold fuselage and whispered, "I used to fly this bird before you were even born." Nobody believed him. Until what happened next. The tarmac vibrated with frustration. The F-16 Falcon, the pride of the squadron, sat there like a piece of dead metal. Its screens were dark. The engine refused to start. Every mechanic had tried. Every engineer had failed. And the mission, an emergency interception training critical for national readiness, was moments from being cancelled. Commander Hale, a strict officer who believed nothing was impossible with enough discipline, stared at the jet with clenched teeth. "Gentlemen," he announced to his crew, "this aircraft is grounded until further notice." Groans and murmurs spread across the airbase. Weeks of preparation. Gone. But that's when a young security airman spotted something unusual. A lone elderly man, dressed in an old maroon sweater and worn slacks, was slowly walking toward the aircraft. His steps were stiff, unsteady, but determined. "Sir!" the security airman yelled, jogging toward him. "This area is restricted. Are you lost?" The old man didn't stop, didn't blink, didn't even look offended. He simply replied, "Son, if that F-16 doesn't get airborne today, you'll lose more than just training hours." The young guard froze. Commander Hale turned around, annoyed at the disruption. "Who let this civilian wander here? Escort him out." But before he finished, the old man stepped closer to the jet, placed his palm on its metal skin, and whispered, "She's colder than she should be. No flow to the central power relay." The engineers stared. How could he possibly know that? "Sir," one of them said cautiously. "And who exactly are you?" The old man smiled faintly, a tired smile. "Name's Daniels. Lieutenant Colonel Daniels, retired. I flew Falcons before most of you learned to tie your boots." Silence dropped like a weight. A retired F-16 legend. "Here." Today one of the older technicians gasped, recognizing the name. "You're that Daniels. The one who made an emergency landing without hydraulics." The Falcon Whisperer. The old man shrugged gently. "People call me many things. I call myself a mechanic's son who learned to listen to engines." Commander Hale finally stepped forward, still skeptical. "If what you say is true, Colonel, what can you do that my entire team couldn't?" Daniels glanced at the dead jet, then at the crowd watching him. "Let me have 5 minutes alone with her." The commander hesitated. But something in the old man's steady eyes, something in the quiet confidence of his voice, made him nod. The technicians stepped back. The old veteran rolled up his sleeves, revealing an old military tattoo, and began inspecting the jet with hands that shook slightly with age, but not with doubt. He crawled beneath the fuselage, tapped the underside wiring panels, listened, literally listened, to the faint hum, or absence of it, from the jet's circuits. Then he stopped. "He found something," whispered an engineer. Daniels pulled off a small cover plate, revealing a narrow slot with a loose relay connector. Practically invisible. "This," he said softly, "is why she won't wake up. A relay can fail quietly, but the jet never lies." He reseated the connector with practiced precision. The moment he stepped back, the technicians felt it, a tiny vibration. A hum, a spark. They stared as the F-16 cockpit lights flickered, then glowed bright and alive. Gasps, whispers. "Oh." Commander Hale stepped back in disbelief. How did you?" Daniels wiped the dust from his hands slowly. "Because I've lived my whole life with these aircraft. They talk to me. And today she just needed someone to listen." The entire base was stunned. But the story had only begun. With the F-16 now roaring back to life, technicians scrambled to recheck systems. Everything was suddenly functioning perfectly, as if resurrected by the hands of time itself. Commander Hale approached Daniels. "Colonel, you saved the day. But the mission still requires a test flight." "My pilot is prepping." Daniels lifted a single finger. "Commander, your pilot won't feel the anomaly that caused the failure. He won't know what to listen for if it happens again mid-air." "You're saying?" "I'm saying I should take her up." The entire team erupted. "He can't. He's too old.
He hasn't flown for years!
But Daniels simply looked at the F-16 with a gaze full of history, scars, victories, and losses. Let me take her up, one last time. Commander Hale stared at him, torn between regulation and intuition. The rulebook said no, but something deeper, older, said yes. After a long silence, he nodded. Colonel Daniels, you have the cockpit. The crew watched as the elderly veteran climbed the access ladder, slower than he once did but with the same unmatched grace. He sat in the seat, strapped himself in, and for a moment, closed his eyes. His fingers gently ran across the controls. "It's good to see you again, girl," he whispered. The engine kicked to life. A thunderous roar. A heartbeat returning. The runway cleared. Falcon 1. Commander Hale said over the radio, voice trembling, "You are cleared for takeoff." Daniels smiled. "Roger that, tower." The F-16 shot forward, wheels lifting, slicing into the sky with the elegance of a predator reborn. The base erupted in cheers. But then, "Tower, I'm detecting a second power fluctuation. This would have killed your pilot mid-air." Everyone froze. Only Daniels's experience could identify the glitch. Only he could manage it. And he did, calmly, skillfully, like the legend.